Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. A great show ahead. We're going to tell you how some wonderful volunteers here in Ottawa have helped Ukrainian refugees get settled in. We'll also tell you about the new plasma donor center opened up in Orleans. Really exciting. And of course, the need is greater than ever. And Ottawa Fringe Festival, we've been having some great productions on the show. We'll tell you about another great production. But first, we talk about entertaining because, you know, summertime, people are bringing people back into their homes and starting to entertain more. How can you freshen things up in an affordable way? Well, Erin Rochon joins us on the show from Erin Rochon Design. Welcome back to the show, Erin. Is this your favorite time to entertain during the year, Erin, or is it just the same for you throughout the entire year?
I love doing it any time of the year, but right now why I think it's so wonderful is because now that the restrictions are starting to lift, we can start gathering again and inviting people back into our homes. So that's why I think right now, especially, is so important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, let's go. You've got some great tips and advice. The first one is, and I think probably obvious to many people out there, but many of us don't do it well, and that is planning and budgeting when it comes to making some changes. How do you go about doing that in an affordable way?
Absolutely. It is so important. Before you start any kind of design project or anything, you do want to sit down and make sure you have a plan and you have a budget. Because it's like going to the grocery store if you're starving. You know it's going to be a complete nightmare and you're going to end up putting a whole bunch of stuff into your cart that wasn't meant to be in there to begin with. So start by planning. And that can be simple as pulling together some colors that you're looking for, or if there's a particular style or a mood. And a really good tip that I often give my clients is that if you're not sure, that happens sometimes, is go to Pinterest and start going through Pinterest, create a board of things that you like. That's a great way. In terms of budget, that is really, really important. You want to sit down and make a realistic budget on what you are going to look at spending and try to stick with that. And by that way, you won't go out and have that grocery store nightmare where you throw everything into the cart.
I visualize myself wandering through HomeSense without a plan or a budget and just grabbing things as you discussed that, right? We've all done that.
It's overwhelming.
Erin, let's talk about, you can do some small things that can make a big impact. What do you suggest?
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes I think it can be almost overwhelming for people if they're looking at a space. I haven't had anybody here in years. What do I need to do? So there's some really simple things that you can do to really change things up. And simple things like changing out your throw cushion. So maybe introducing a new color, going and finding some inexpensive throw pillows, finding some artwork, some throws, even painting a wall or a space is a huge, it's just a small thing to do, but it makes a huge dramatic impact. Yeah. So just doing small things like that. And usually when I tell people when you're doing stuff, because design can get a little overwhelming if you're looking at changing things up, you just start with little steps. And that's why your plan comes into place as well. So yeah.
And I know, Erin, you really encourage people to go, DIY, and there's so much information available now as well on the internet, right? On YouTube, you can go and look at different, as you mentioned, Pinterest too, just different ideas. You have some great examples of some DIY. Let's go through some of those examples today.
Yeah. Okay, yes, I sent in a few pictures. So these are just a few examples of some DIYs that you can do. So this is a succulent wreath that I did. This is a bit of a take on a trend that was out recently. Succulents are really big, but having a succulent wreath or just some kind of wreath on your front door is a perfect way to introduce and welcome people into your home. It's the first thing that they see. So something like this, I think it cost me under $30 and an afternoon of pulling together. So artwork. I love creating artwork. You don't have to be an artist, but there's a lot of really great DIYs that you can do. And I should mention, this is a plaster DIY that I did, and it was very easy to do. It took a little bit of time, but I have all of the instructions and lots of really great inspiration for people if you're kind of stuck on what to do and how to do it. So that's a fun piece that I did. This piece right here, it's actually a plant pot and a bowl that I found at the thrift store. I glued it together and I painted it. And this is a pedestal bowl that is another huge design trend. You're seeing it a lot right now in interior designs. But this was so simple to do, and that was like under $8. This this is another simple DIY, just simple, beautiful. It's a
I
dried
love it.
coral. So easy to
So
do. It's
cool.
really
Yeah.
inexpensive to make. And you can't really tell, but this is actually quite a large hoop, so it really makes an impact. But these are just little simple things that you can do. And the great thing about doing DIYs like this is that it gives it that personal feel to your space. I should mention this one too. So those are some ring planters that I made. Another huge design trend. We're seeing a lot of really structural plant decor. So this
Right.
was just some foam rings that I got at the dollar store, glued them together, painted it, and popped a plant into it.
They look great,
Really,
Erin.
really easy.
Erin,
Yeah, thank
before I
you.
run out of time, when should
Yep.
somebody approach an expert like yourself and reach out for help?
So I think if you're having a hard time getting your vision together, or if you're just really stuck, or if you're just having a bit of a hard time kind of putting things into place, that's when I tell people to come out and hire an expert. And I've recently worked with a client. I think I sent in some pictures. She had a 3-season room. This was the before. It was beautiful, but it was just not quite their taste. But I
Wow.
came in, I helped them figure out colors. We added lots of textiles. She did some DIYs. She thrifted for some pieces. And we were able to pull the whole room together. And you can see it really reflects now their style. It's welcoming, and it's a really enjoyable space for them to be in. So definitely, you can always head over to my website and check out the services that we offer.
Yeah, we just brought it up. Erin Rochon, design.com. And before I let you go, just to let you know, Erin, that looks spectacular. I mean, what a great space you created there. It looks absolutely amazing. I know that you've inspired our viewers. You certainly have inspired me. Thanks so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on the show. We'll be back to talk about the new Plasma Donor Center right after this.